A new mission giver has been added to Star Citizen, and his name is Wikelo, and he is not human. No, he's a Banu. And so far we haven't met him in game. You can get called by him, and you can talk to him. And while this is a hologram that's not interactive, a good point brought up by Zarek in chat just now is that when you do call him, or when he calls you, I guess, you see his full body. And that's important to keep in mind, or not his full body, but you see him in color, in action. Important to keep in mind because through render to texture technology, that does mean that he's somewhere in the game world doing those things you're seeing in the call. So, since we can't access the actual store that he owns in the space stations around the star system, it's possible he's back there, and we will end up meeting him, and we just haven't gotten the chance because it's still wave 1 of PTU. By the time you see this, it might be wave 2 or even wave 3, or heck, we might have gone open because I don't know when this is releasing throughout the week. But this is a look into why it's a big deal that he's coming in, not just as a Banu, but as a mission giver, and the kind of journey that we've gone through to get there. This is the very beginning. This is where we all started with mission givers. This is the introduction of the first mission giver and what the idea behind them was supposed to be. So I'm just going to let this whole section play out for you. This is back in Levski, which was the first place we were able to land. This is the first showing off of a planetary location in the new version of Star Citizen in 3.0, which was 2017, but you get the idea. This is where it all began with mission givers.
Stations moving around, so you sort of feel like it's a living world, whether there's 50 other players there or there's just you. So let's just head up here. We're going to find Cafe Muzan, which is where Miles Eckhart is hanging out.
This is before 3.0 came out, but this was supposed to show what 3.0 would be.
And there you go. Looks like there's Miles there in the corner.
Glad you could make it. Grab a seat.
Right.
Sorry for the locale. Don't look like much, but the homemade stuff has some kick. Anyway, a job came in late last night. Some idiot hauler cut through low-sec space, got his crew vented. Company needs to retrieve the ship's black box to claim insurance on the lost cargo. Should be a romper job. Get in, get out. All my people are tied up with bigger ops. So I figured I could use this as a chance to make a new friend. I'll send the details. Let me know if you're interested.
He's like, hey, I need you to fly all the way out here and sit with me in the bar, and then I'm just going to send you the email to give you the job.
So we can either accept or decline, but we're going to check the details first. So let's pull it up. There's the log. So the mission that we can take is the Dundar Sunbeam 4, which is a Starfarer. It's attacked by outlaws yesterday. Crew and cargo presumed lost. Unfortunately, the pilot deviated from intended path into unmonitored space in an ill-conceived attempt to shave time off their route.
Dude, look at that freaking UI. Like, the lines on the squares don't even render correctly.
The shipping needs the black box data retrieved from the wreck in order to be reimbursed by an insurance company for the lost cargo. So the deliverables, the black box data from the Dundar Sunbeam 4, and we'll be paid 3,000 credits for that. So sounds like a mission we should take, so let's do that. Okay. Let's accept.
Great. Here's the tracking address for the ship. Let me know once you have the black box data.
Okay, we have a new objective, retrieve the black box. So let's head back out to the landing area and meet Chris up, and let's go look for a black box.
Okay. So it's a really basic mission.
yeah.
It's just like you go out, you get a ship, fly out with your crew to another planet,
Chris,
fight some people. You got to go and infiltrate a derelict ship and like fight some more people, and then you find some information.
Black box. Poof. Download complete.
Get the black box.
3,000 credits.
And then that gives you more.
I'll send it off. Great job. You know, I'm just gonna throw this out. But I ended up talking to a couple of contacts of mine. Turns out the pack that hit that ship are squatting in an old facility on that nearby moon. I'm just talking here, but it's not crazy to think that they're keeping the cargo there. These outlaws are scum, so it's not like anyone will miss them. And the company's gonna claim the insurance. So it wouldn't technically be stealing if you happen to head on down and take it. Again, I'm not saying anything here. I'm just gonna send along a location on that moon and do what you want.
So, that, I think that's a little more indicative of what people like about quest givers. The voice acting, the actual back and forth, but also this whole there's multiple points here. You're not just going and doing a mercenary mission, killing some people in a bunker and leaving. You're not just going and picking up some cargo, taking it a place and getting paid. You're going and completing an objective and then hearing about some complication with the mission and then getting to go and do something else. You know, you find some extra loot, you go down to a new location, you figure out that part of the mission, and at the end of the whole thing, you can even get backstabbed.
All right. Well, I guess that's one way to get rid of pirates. Okay, so let's see what they were hiding here on the base.
Yeah, I really wish we could see our helmets again in the HUD. It's annoying they took that away.
Okay, here we go. All right. A Big Betty's crate, as he always says, and
a whole bunch of loot boxes you can't use. This was so long before we had loot in the game.
So again, here's sort of an example of the inner thought. So let's pick it up. There we go. So little grabby hands action. So you'll be able to move and take things around as I've mentioned before. So let's take them out. You want to land? Doesn't want to drop. Right, can go check that out.
Okay, here we go.
Hang on, we got an incoming video message. Let's check that out. What's that, dude? Chris should come out and get the box. Hang on a sec.
Okay, so I think actually when he says something like a video message, it might be that they differentiate between when they use render to texture and when they just record a video. Not sure.
So, find anything good? If you don't mind, I'll just have a look myself.
That doesn't sound very good. Don't know about that. What do you reckon, guys?
The way they used to try and do these.
Ups to daisy. Looks like we got double crossed. Damn it!
Okay. Imagine he's just like, what the f? Who put this in the demo? They weren't supposed to be here. So mission giver is given a more of a like the ability for missions to be more custom and fun. And I think that's really what excites people the most about it. It's not just the idea that they are mission givers, but mission givers come with higher expectations. And now that we're starting to see mission givers come back in, the spotlight is going to be kind of on if they can meet those expectations. Like, can we actually get missions that do all this? Because right now, Wikelo is just giving us missions to go get stuff. It's just the same kind of mission in a way, being assigned by a voice person. And that's the next step. It's what people have been wanting. But, we could get all excited for mission givers and then they come in and they don't actually make that big a difference. But I want to explain sort of what the whole point of them is. So easiest way to understand the way they work is just to watch what they have to say about reputation, because they're a big part of reputation. They will be their representatives of the factions that we are. You know what? Instead of doing this, let's do the... Let's look at the 1.0 talk real quick, because they do mention factions and their representatives are what mission givers are now.
Let's talk more about each system and each planet will be featuring the massive level of outposts, POIs, stations, biomes, and exploration options that we've been perfecting with Stanton and Pyro, and you've been seeing in some of the other presentations this weekend. But we're adding one more level. We're also going to be adding location stories. Now these will be short, NPC-driven missions sprinkled across our landing zones and cities that will exist outside of the main story, but will help provide an additional bit of lore and character to the location that they take place in.
I wonder when we see the first location story coming in, because I don't think we have any right now. These would need to be things that you could replicate over and over. They can't be like attack Pyro, right?
So, that's our main story. Let's talk more about the guilds that Rich mentioned. First, a quick recap. Guilds act as a governing body for clusters of professions and factions with a reputation and progression system that will offer rewards the more you work for them.
That's important.
And I want to call out two things. One, I'm not going to have time to dive into all of the missions that you're going to see on this board, but just know that every mission type is either in the 1.0 roadmap or already in production. And second, we're also looking to move missions away from the mobiGlas whenever possible. Sure, it will always be an easy way for us to get additional game content in, but we want you talking with people. So,
see, people have wanted that for a while, and I think even since 4.0, it's becoming more and more clear when missions got a little bit more restricted.
So to aid that, we're going to be adding characters to represent the factions that you'll be working for that will help sell their personality.
So that's the idea. The Wikelo is probably going to be a character that represents a faction that we might work with elsewhere. I think there's also a good possibility we'll see somebody come in to represent Rayari, for instance. We have Konstantin Hurston, who's representing Hurston. Miles Eckhart represents his. So these mission givers are not just mission givers. They're like important NPCs. And I think they're going to be not as serious as what Miles Eckhart originally looked like. We're going to be finding people like this who are bartenders, who are cargo deck hands, who can just kind of give you a little contract here or there when you drop by.
Now, some, they'll still interact with you via the written word, but some will call and check in on your performance. And others, you may have to meet in person from time to time. So, let's walk through them.
The fact that they're introducing these factions. So we know that we have seen some new security faction. I don't remember who they're called. Rayari is getting reputation now. Hathor, I think, might be getting rep. I'm not sure. So they're starting to build out this idea of reputation, representatives, factions, and then also guilds like the Bounty Hunting Guild is taking over a lot of missions. So here is another sort of reminder of how reputation works, just something to solidify that understanding.
Track your different levels of career proficiency with different kinds of gameplay. Within scopes, we have this concept of standings. These are the ranks that you move through from negative whatever to positive whatever, and we can tell when we assess you either through the missions or the mission givers or NPCs or however they are looking at you, what standing you are at. One of the things that we are very excited to have is these reputations giving you things when you get to those higher standings. The idea is that this is giving you benefits and rewards for progressing through the game. It's a progression system at its heart. The other thing that I'm really excited about with this coming out is the concept of allowing for group building and community building with this by allowing you to bring something unique to your group of friends table. You might have a reputation with a certain organization at a high level that your other friends don't, and you've maybe done a little bit of extra work to maintain that, get that up there, etc. And as a result, you're able to bring in something cool like a mission that normally they wouldn't be able to do. Plus, everybody likes bragging rights. We all know that you're going to be putting up screenshots on the subreddit or whatever saying, look at all these reputations I have at max, look at what I'm able to maintain, all that. We're darn excited about how that's going to play out potentially.
The thing is that there's a lot of complication when it comes to putting people in missions that with certain reputations. What if you join a mission and you bring along somebody who has a negative rep with the faction that you joined the mission for? You're just going to have, are these people going to shoot you because you're associated with them and they are shoot on sight? You basically just you're going to have to make the call as a player and be like, you can't join me on this. I'm going to show up to the outpost and they're going to start shooting at us. I'm sorry, but you can't be on this mission. And then what happens if you don't know that faction is going to be there during that mission? Like, there's a lot of complications with reputation, which is kind of exciting. I think the not sharing missions outside of rep thing could work. It's just a matter of we need an easy way to communicate contract sensitive information still. So that's a little look into reputation. Now to look at who the true first mission giver was, courtesy of Cameral. Big shout out to the guy who does YouTube content. He got all of the different dialogue together for our very first Tessa Bannister, who was a mission giver in the game actually before 3.0. Did all voice line stuff, had pretty great overall like banter with the player and just made you feel more comfortable playing the game and flying around. Completely gone though. The one interesting thing is that Tessa Bannister's name has, this is a spoiler by the way, so if you don't like spoilers and you don't want to hear about that kind of thing for 4.1, I'm going to give you a moment to close your ears for a cool second. Tessa Bannister has shown up in the files of 4.1 as a possible connection to Wikelo. So we might be able to see her coming in back in soon. And they have said themselves over time that Tessa Bannister will at some point return to Star Citizen. But here's a throwback for any of you who remember.
Random ship. Hi, welcome to the neighborhood. Second class junior cartographer Tessa Bannister reporting in. I'm the eyes behind all the ICC scan probes in the area. What these little guys see, I see. Which, yes, means I can totally see you. Right now. Anyway, there was actually a reason to why I commed. I'm sort of not allowed to leave my post. Important jump point scanning and all. So, I was hoping you might be able to help me with something. Second, could you check out these coordinates?
There are a lot of these. All over the place. You just fly around and she'd basically be like an exploration/science mission giver. You'd show up at a location and she'd ping you for something you needed to go do. And there were actually...
You saved my life. I won't forget it.
There are some cool like voice clips where... Let's see if any of
You
them...
got hit by some trouble out there. Glad you scraped through. Hey! Got something for you.
Next spot.
Drop whatever you're doing. 2 words. Distress bacon. Beacon. Distress beacon. Sorry, I didn't have breakfast. Forget it. Just go help, okay?
So yeah, it's just, this is amazing. Imagine being assigned to just go to random distress beacons and see what you find there. Maybe you find somebody you can help. Maybe you just find some good loot. Maybe there's nothing. This is content. They could really easily put in like 8 missions that have to do something like this that don't take much narrative. It'd be really cool if they could just reuse the audio from these two, but I bet they're outdated.
Do right by me, okay? Yes, I am so happy to see you. So I'm getting a strange signal on my scan. It's saying it can't ID it. That's odd, right? IDing stuff is kind of what scans do. Anyway, not mine, apparently, because I have no clue what they found. Giving you the codes in case you're interested in scoping it out. Day 73. Very excited to be coming up to Crusade.
Oh, so here's like, so you could even go and find data pads and stuff, man. We need this back.
Speaking, by the way, because I realized I might be the only one who calls them DB. Day 73. Very excited to be coming up to Crusader. Ever since the jump point, I've been working out a rough schedule of what to visit. And by my estimation, I can sightsee for 4 hours if I want to keep my schedule for the rest of the system. Oh, that's weird. Just got an alert that says an airlock was triggered. I swear, the new operating system is designed to not work with these older models. So, anyway, still undecided about whether
she shouldn't ignore that.
or not. This is already kind of...
Oh, shit.
Kinda scary.
Dang. Dude, see? Why can't we get more stuff like that? Honestly, I thought she just blew an airlock and went. I thought we weren't going to hear anything just gone from the ship. So yeah, a little bit more narrative, a little bit more voice acting, a little bit of stuff like that would be great. And I think that's part of why people have been so wanting for this to come back. The big problem is, as many of you have realized over the years, Star Citizen couldn't run AI. So there was a very, very clear cutoff of trying to bring them into the game. You go back to the roadmap, we did this a little bit earlier today, and you look at all of the updates we've ever had for Star Citizen going all the way back to 3.0. You can see that when they first started releasing these, they were having mission givers pretty regularly come into the game. So Miles Eckhart came in with 3.0, I believe. After him, see, I don't think there was anybody in 3.1 or 2. But 3.3 had Recco Pataglia. She was included in Levski, and she gave out, she's in charge of salvage kinds of missions, salvage and repair stuff. In 3.5, we got Clovis Darneely. He was added in at Lorville, and he gave you a mission to go find a wrecked satellite. In 3.4, we got Constantine Hurston. He's also in Lorville. And I don't even know what kind of missions he would give you, but he also was a mission giver. In that same month, Wallace Klim came in as a little bit more of a unlawful mission giver who could get you into some sketchier stuff. And he worked against Ruto, who also was in the game at this point, but I don't remember when he was added. In 3.5, they added Tisha Pacheco, who we're going to look at here, because she was actually the last mission giver to ever be added to Star Citizen. Yes. Back in April of 2019, the last mission giver was put in the game. Now, there were a couple more. There was Eddie Parr, who is supposed to be a bartender at Microtech. You can actually find him. He's the bartender at New Babbage. He just doesn't give missions. He still will serve you. There is, I think his name is Devin Bautista. And him, and also a woman named Lisa Gibbs. That's it. Devin Bautista and Lisa Gibbs work for the Advocacy, and they were supposed to be two mission givers based in Orison. Michael Shaw is a mission giver, I think, who... I don't think he was ever put into the game either. And Luca Brunt is the racing guy. He was never put in game either. So they stopped and didn't continue on these AI because AI is broken, and we all recognize that pretty strongly. Pretty hard to add VA work, scheduling, recording, editing, effects, dialogue, scripting. Yeah, the motion capture, scheduling, all that kind of stuff, only to have it break on release because the game can't handle it. Yeah, I get that. To try and make a bunch of these people to build the game up and then have it not work at all because the back end can't support it, I would cut them too. I wouldn't keep developing them. I'd be like, guys, we need to fix the game first. So they shelved it until server meshing allowed AI to start running better, which we've noticed in the last few months. So it's not a coincidence then that we are now seeing AI coming back into the game as mission givers. And you can go back to some of the monthly reports from last year, because the narrative team was preparing for this. You remember when narrative came out and said, we're going to start putting more of our stuff in the game and not in jump points. These monthly reports from last year talk about these kinds of things. As part of the scoping of responsibility for 1.0, they looked into taking a larger role in the oversight and maintenance of the social AI. This includes reviewing and adjusting existing civilian behaviors so the personalities of the various locations and landing zones come through. The team is also prototyping new behavior types that will appear throughout some upcoming locations as well as previously established ones. So the idea of working together to get AI into a position of reflecting where they are was part of the workflow last year. You can also see that they're talking a little bit about their location stories for major landing zones, with team members working with design to tailor the story of the gameplay. Again, you need characters for that kind of stuff. And then another one here says, the narrative team began 2025 meeting with multiple disciplines to solidify new ways of delivering in-game narrative content. They also focused on increasing the number of characters that players will meet in the verse. This is a focus for them. And it's become pretty clear over the last year. Here is another report from a monthly report saying the team continued to iterate on future narrative initiatives designed to bring more character and stories to the universe. This resulted in a series of proposals that they've been reviewing with design. They also continue to outline ways to improve AI behaviors to sell more of the Star Citizen lore. So mission givers and the AI that you're just walking around in the game in general are more a focus now than they were before. Now I want to show you guys the last mission giver we ever got, which was Tessa Pacheco, and what they were saying about her at that time to, I guess, give you an idea of where they were headed at least.
Let's go to Josh Herman and Jeremiah Lee to take a look at the new mission giver waiting for you when ArcCorp arrives. So we're in the process of building our new mission giver for 3.5, Twitch Pacheco, or Tessa Twitch Pacheco.
Voice actors all have mics, dude. It's not just voice acting. Look. This takes so much more work than asking someone to send in a line on a mic. Hell, as somebody who has sent in voice lines for a project, it is not as simple as just recording something and sending it in. Come on, man. That's a decent amount of work. Like the finishing of it and everything, you gotta have high quality.
Let's hope your execution matches your enthusiasm.
Pacheco as a character has a little bit of a richer past where she's gone through some hardships.
A former operative in Blackjack Security, and she got into a horrible accident, causing her to suffer some nerve damage. She was ultimately let go, and she had some animosity towards Blackjack Security because of that.
But she tries to hide that. She doesn't want to put that down. She still wants to kind of be herself, be this badass that she's always been as a soldier. And we wanted to communicate that through her costume, allow some personality through some of her other elements.
Pacheco was heavily inspired by Blade Runner and also a lot of the 80s and 90s sci-fi film. Her also being in the crime syndicate, we didn't want her to be wearing pants or a shirt. We wanted her to be a little bit in protective gear, some combat stuff here and there, but nothing too heavy. She wanted to be a little bit incognito, so she'd have like a hood to cover her face or her identity a little bit.
Still wearing it.
So with Pacheco's hair,
we never saw her
one
hair.
Thing that we wanted to try was a very different style. First off, it gives her personality and makes her stand out, and it feels like it fits her to begin with. But also, we wanted to make sure that we were able to do that with our new hair tech.
I wanted to look special, and I wanted to not give her just a regular plain Jane type of hair. I wanted her to have...
We never saw her hair. Even now that they've gotten the hair into the game, I guess they'll probably update it whenever they update her, but there was so much talk about this hair and then we never really got to see it. We do miss Jaylee. Jaylee, where are you at?
A little bit of possibly hidden culture, and she looks badass, man.
So since this is all very work in progress with our hair pipeline, and we're trying to finalize that now, if it's not completed for 3.5, we're not going to let that stop us for the release of Pacheco in 3.5. So I hope that...
I hope the hair is released for 3.5. Oh, fingers crossed it's ready for that.
When players see Pacheco and that they're excited and that they get to see a new style, a new type of character. We have a lot of already bad guys and this is going to add to that group, but we're excited to kind of bring a different flavor of bad guy to you guys. So you were there when they filmed Twitch,
yes.
Right? Yeah.
Yep, back in 2016.
That's awesome. So, you know,
2016 they filmed it. They're gonna have to call her to come do more freaking mocap. That is wild. So that was the last mission giver we got, and let's see what else do they have to say about that.
Was there anything unique about her?
Just about the voice acting,
especially like with her performance or anything?
mocap.
It was actually the first one we shot in that shoot, which was a fun thing. But she's got kind of a chip on her shoulder, and hence why she's sort of gone over to the dark side and is sort of working for the criminals that she had been previously locking up. And the actress like really kind of took that and ran with it.
Walk away and don't come back. We see you anywhere near our operations, you're dead.
A lot of her line readings with that sort of that rage and that kind of anger and pathos to it to really bring the character to life.
That's awesome. And then you were just in the UK filming again. What were you out there doing?
We were doing some pickup stuff for Squadron 42.
Oh,
a little character vignettes. Yep.
There she is.
What were you out there doing?
Was that?
We were doing some.
Is that Anna? That's literally Agent Dooley right there in the mocap. Wait, really? Was she there that early? I thought that would have been
Pickup
Xeno
stuff for
Threat.
Squadron 42, kind of little character vignette stuff for the players to hopefully discover.
No, that's not Anna. Never mind.
And we were also doing some PU kind of wildline
Squadron
character
stuff.
pickups to help support kind of the law system that
Awesome.
Design's working on.
Exciting life you lead, Dave.
It's I'm very tired.
That's right. Awesome. So there's some also some radical new firepower coming to PU in Alpha 3.5. Here's Johnny
R97.
DeCidius and Jacob Mathis with
Dude, that's exciting.
Precision.
Oh no, it's S71. See, that's a little bit of a look at like where mission givers are coming from and why people are interested in them. Now, I don't know what they're gonna do with them. I don't know how far they're gonna take this. I do think that there's a lot riding on this idea of building familiarity with these factions and making sure their representatives are actually representing. And there's a lot to get from it. I think this will expand the game a lot this year. I just don't. We still don't know how far it's going to go past what we're seeing with Wikelo. And so, until then, that's what we know about mission givers. Hope you got something from it.